Welcome to another episode of Ask the Pastors, and you'll notice today we've got a deacon with us. All right, so it's Ask the Pastors plus one. Travis and I have asked RJ, he's kind of our deacon, this liaison to the elders. He sits in on elders meetings and works on our finance team, so it's really important to have an extra set of ears in all those meetings, and so that's one of your main roles here.
Right.
And so we were talking last week, I think you brought this up, Travis, about the ratio. You want to kind of revisit maybe the question that someone sent last week briefly?
Yep, so are we given any mandates on maybe a ratio or percentage of how many people it takes to send and how many people should go? And so we're kind of wrestling with that biblical mandate, if there is one, or just kind of maybe our standard operating procedures on how much of our resources, time, and energy do we put towards sending and how many people should go from our congregation.
And so we cleared that up. There's no biblical mandate.
Nope.
But we did mention that sometimes in a wartime mindset, this was true in some of the wars of America, there's like a 10-to-1 ratio. Mm-hmm. For every one person on the front lines, you need 10 behind the scenes.
Yep.
And one of our men had just texted me and just gave a really good, some insightful comments about our church's giving, that we normally give about 10% to missions, budgeted dollars. Yep. But it reminded me that we had fallen short a few years ago, actually, and I think we realized we're not really at that 10-to-1 financially, and it prompted me to talk to RJ and see if he could share the story, because I really have appreciated the way the finance team came alongside the elders and helped us get back to 10%. Yep. I think we are just getting there this year. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. Yep.
So walk us through that process and how we got from where we were. We weren't even aware we were that low, and we want to get back. And we want to give more if we can, but we want to at least get to this 10-to-1 ratio. That's not in the Bible necessarily, but it's a good marker.
Yeah.
I think it's a good story of how you can, make progress out of a bad place into a better place.
Sure. Yeah, it was about 4 years ago. Todd had the conversation with me, brought it to my attention from the elders to the finance team. We decided to take a look and see how we could start adjusting our budget to provide more dollars for our mobilization. So we ended up making that recommendation at that time to increase by 1.5% for the first couple years until we got to 10% of our prior year's budget. So this year, last year's budget was $1.3 million. So this year, our mobilization dollars that we have allocated to it is $130,000. Mm-hmm. So we were able to do that in about 3 years. We made that recommendation back to the elders. The elders agreed that it was a good plan to go forward with, and so we've been able to stick to that going forward, and we're going to continue to do that. So this coming year, our current year's budget is $1.375 million. And so for 2022, our mobilization budget is going to be $137,500. And then hopefully as our budget continues to grow, we'll see that same increase year after year, so we can get closer to that 10% of our current year budget would be a fantastic number. So currently we're at about 9.5% of what our current year's budget is.
But we want to get to 10% at least. And sometimes I think there is, we have some, the word's not overture. What's the word when you have extra?
Oh, a surplus.
Surplus. And so we've been generous with that, and given each year like to different or other organizations, our own partners, just to be extra generous.
Right. So this last year for 2020, we were blessed with another surplus, and we were able to take 20,000 of that, and we put it towards helping 4 different local organizations, and then also providing extra funds for each one of our partners overseas.
I think, Travis, you can relate to this. I think the reason I like that story is because when we realized we were running short, and I'm not even sure why, but maybe we got a little out of balance.
Sure.
But it's in my nature, and I think this is a negative trait, okay? This is not a good thing. You may be the same way, but I wanted to fix it like the next week.
Instantly, yeah.
So I went to RJ, I was like, RJ, we need to get a lot more money to missions.
Right.
And I love the way that God structured the church with men who around, a multitude of counselors. And so the team came back with a much better plan. So when I see this working now, it's like, man, I'm so thankful for wiser men than me.
And I love the transparency of our church. We were willing to 4 years address that and lay that out to our congregation, and our congregation stepped up. And
absolutely. So
you were able to see maybe the Holy Spirit prompting the elders getting in line with the deacons, all of us putting it forward the congregation stepping up. And it's just fun to see unity across the board on missions is a priority at First Family Church.
And sometimes we don't communicate that as much as we
Sure,
should.
yeah.
But I just want you to know, church, for a number of years now, we realized we were not really
Yep.
maybe in the best ratio financially. And we have a strong commitment to missions. And so we have some really good men and women around us who are just able to lean in with really solid plans to prevent people maybe like me and Travis from trying to fix everything overnight, you
Yep,
know?
yep.
I like the way we bring passion to the
Yep.
situations. But anyway, and so, yeah, to see this happening now and to hear you say like next year it's going to be this amount, man, it just thrills my heart that we can continue to hold the rope for those on the other end.
That's right.
Absolutely.
So thank you so much,
You bet.
and for helping safeguard against some of my negative tendencies. Anything you want to add, Travis?
No, I love that because we need to continue, like we said last week, we need to continue to prepare to send more. And so you're helping us get to the place where when an opportunity arises, we're not behind, we're actually where we want to be or even ahead. Maybe
Yeah,
we
we're-
can say, we can get you there quick.
Yeah, we're absolutely prepared to be able to do that.
That's awesome. That's really exciting to me.
Yeah, we want to be prepared every year, don't we?
Yeah,
Send
yeah.
or plant annually.
That's right.
So, church, be encouraged. If you have any questions about this, feel free to call, text in. I so appreciate the man in our church who just texted me some insightful comments, was able just to lean in. It was just very helpful. It kind of prompted this special episode of two pastors and a deacon. So
new
maybe we'll
sitcom.
have you back.
New sitcom.
All right, church. Hey, thanks so much. Look forward to seeing you next episode of Ask the Pastors.